The Dangers in My Heart may have one of the best premises for a romance anime, but unfortunately, the anime completely ruined the pacing. If you're not familiar with The Dangers in My Heart, it's about a boy named Taki Ichikawa who has a violent past that he tries to hide from everyone at school. He meets a girl named Yamada who becomes interested in him because of his delinquent-ish appearance. And because Taki doesn't want anyone to get hurt because of him, he starts trying to avoid Yamada. But she won't give up. So he starts spending time with her to show her that he's not a good person. But of course she doesn't care, and she continues to get closer to him. And eventually they start dating. Now, if you've watched the anime, then you know that all of this happens very fast. But if you've read the manga, you know that it takes forever for these two to finally admit their feelings for each other. The story is told from Taki's point of view, and we get to see his inner thoughts, which really helps to build up the tension. And speaking of tension, let's get into why the anime messed up the pacing. Number 1. They skipped some key moments from the manga. For example, there was this one scene in the library where Taki is surrounded by books, and it starts raining, and Yamada looks out the window and sees Taki walking home alone, and she feels bad for him, and she goes over to his house to check up on him. Now, I understand why they didn't include this scene in the anime. It didn't really move the plot forward, but the thing is, this scene showed how much Yamada cared for Taki. And without that scene, it kind of makes it seem like she's only interested in him because he's hot. And to be honest, I don't think that's what the author intended. There were also some other scenes that were cut out that showed Taki and Yamada getting closer to each other, which again would have helped the pacing of the anime. But speaking of pacing, number 2. Ichikawa's narration is just cringe. In the anime, Taki narrates what he's thinking throughout the whole story, but in the manga it's only shown when he's having a flashback or when he's thinking back on a memory. When he's in the present, his thoughts are more to himself, and he doesn't always say them out loud like he does in the anime. An example of this is when Taki thinks to himself that Yamada looks cute while she's sleeping. In the anime, he says it out loud, which just makes it seem like he's a pervert. But in the manga, it's just a thought, so it works better. Overall, I feel like the anime didn't really know when to be serious and when to be comedic, especially with Taki's inner thoughts. Number 3, Yamada Feels Less Mysterious. In the manga, we only get to see things from Taki's point of view, so we don't know what Yamada is thinking most of the time. This creates a bit of mystery around her character, but the anime just ruins it by making her way too clingy. For example, in the anime, whenever Taki gets close to another girl, Yamada immediately gets jealous and tries to make him stop. But in the manga, we don't actually see that side of her until much later. In the anime, she basically becomes a yandere, but in the manga, she's just a normal girl who likes Taki. And finally, number 4, the time jump in Season 2 feels unearned. At the end of Season 1, there's a time skip, and it makes sense because Taki and Yamada graduate middle school and start going to the same high school. But in the second season, there's another time skip, and by this point, I felt like the anime had already established that Taki and Yamada were going to be together. So it didn't really make sense to skip ahead 3 years. In the manga, Taki and Yamada aren't together yet, so it makes sense to have a time skip to show them growing up a bit. But in the anime, it just felt forced. Overall, I just feel like the anime tried to cram too much into one season. If they had taken their time and paced the story correctly, then I think it would have been a lot better. But as it stands, the anime is honestly a bit of a mess. But what do you think? Did you like the anime? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you liked this video, then be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. I'll see you guys next time.